The Shelby GT350R is going to live down as one of the best muscle cars ever built. In the future, when all our sports cars are either forced induction or hybrid or pure electric, who knows, with torque converters and automatic transmissions, this is going to be remembered as the last great naturally aspirated muscle car. This thing is entirely built around its engine. That is the highlight of this car. A 5.2-liter flat plane crank V8. So that is what makes it so special. That flat plane crank. This is using sort of race car, very exotic car technology, something that vehicles like a Ferrari 458 utilizes, implemented into a large displacement American V8. It was very difficult to do. A lot of the vibrations, a lot of different things that they overcome, but the result is an engine unlike anything else. 5.2 liters, naturally aspirated, it revs to over 8,000 RPM, it makes 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. Remember, this is all without any forced induction, so you get that crazy linear power band, it just revs to the sky, and the sounds it makes are absolutely just unbelievable. We can talk about it in a straight line. 0 to 60 will happen in 4 seconds, the quarter mile in just over 12 seconds. It's a 3,700-pound Mustang with a 6-speed manual transmission, rear-wheel drive only, but straight line isn't what this car was built for. This car was built to drive around corners. The big differences between this and a regular GT350 that make it the most track-focused hardcore Shelby are, if we list them really quickly, from an aerodynamics perspective, you get a bigger front splitter, you have a bigger rear wing, and then tires and wheels. The wheels are a big deal. The first full production use of carbon fiber wheels. They were quite expensive when brand new. They're still quite expensive, but they are very light. That loss of weight there really helps make this thing drive and feel a lot better dynamically. Those wheels are wrapped in super sticky Michelin Cup 2 tires that are wider than the regular GT350. You get like 305 sections up front, which is very aggressive. They're huge wheels, and it's a huge part of what makes this car do the things that it can. Moving on, it also has a same 6-speed manual transmission, same engine, same power output. So from that perspective, the drivetrain is essentially the same. We do have a resonator delete in the Shelby 350R. No rear seats, same rear cars. Interior is pretty much the same, so it loses a little bit of weight. These can be configured without AC radio, but you can option all those back. And I think you can even option the rear seats and electronics pack. I would definitely do it because it brings you at least some semblance of creature comforts in terms of infotainment with Sync 3, and you get climate control, and you get a radio. All of these changes command a bit of a price premium. Not too much, actually. I think the changes are definitely worth the money if you can get it at sticker. That's the caveat. At sticker, it's like $7 to $8 grand more than a loaded up GT350 for all the track goodies you get, and the fact that it's a much more limited production car. The R is much more rare than a regular GT350, but the result of that is you really can't find one for sticker price. Trust me, I've struggled. Matt, the owner of this, has also struggled to get them. You can't find them for less than pretty much 10 grand over sticker. A lot of them, when they first came out, were going for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand over sticker. It was absolutely insane. Appearance-wise, we've already briefly talked about how this differs from the R, but I think every single Shelby is one of the best-looking Mustangs built. I really do love this S550 generation, especially in the full aggression of the Shelby 350. You get the crazy, more angular front end with the splitters and everything. I can't pick my favorite color for a GT350 either. I think it looks good in almost every single color it comes in, whether you want grabber blue or avalanche gray or this black with the matte black stripes and the red accent striping. It actually looks like the same color scheme as I had on my Boss 302 Laguna Seca. Interior-wise, yeah, it's basic, but it's nice. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a Mustang, but it's no longer cheap and plasticky and as crappy as you would expect in the older ones. These Recaro seats are amazing. I love them. They are so supportive. They look awesome, and they're comfortable, too. They don't actually beat you up that much. You got nice Alcantara everywhere. On the newer, updated cars, too, something is the soft touch material on the top of the door trim. Little details that actually make it feel quite nice. The stitching, the red stitching for the R car here. At the end of the day, it's still a track car. I mean, it's got no rear seats. You can get it without a radio and AC, but it's functional and it's enough. I don't have any complaints whatsoever. What this is really about is driving. Even just cruising here right now, this 350 feels instantaneous. I put everything into track mode, sport mode, and the steering firms up, and it just so direct. This thing just immediately points to wherever you want it to go. The turn-in is so unbelievably crisp. Definitely a factor with the crazy tires and wheels, but the overall setup of this car is just to be instantaneous. It's telepathically good. It goes where you want it to go. It's the most rewarding car I've driven in a long time. I think as an overall dynamic package, this thing is the most exciting and addicting car to drive. I think for the money, 100% guaranteed. I really want one. Oh my God. Let's make some noises. Oh God. Is it worth the money? At the end of the day, a Shelby 350R at sticker price, 100%, I will guarantee you it is worth every single cent at 70 grand. Now, you have to factor in markup because that's just what the marketplace for these cars is right now. At $80,000 to $85,000, I think that's the upper limit of what it's worth. I think this is just as rewarding, fun to drive, as exciting. I love it as much as up to something like a Porsche GT3, R8. Camaro ZL1 is another competitor that brings as much or more performance for that kind of money, but based on what I've reviewed and read, it's not as dynamic, and the forced induction just doesn't feel as alive. This thing is raw and linear, that naturally aspirated engine sound, the manual feel and everything. This is a driver's car. This is meant to be A, as fast as possible around the track for given what it has, and B, as rewarding and leave you as addicted and in love with it as you just ever can possibly be. If I were to give this car a rating out of 100, I 100% serious am going to give it 100. I love this car. It is the best car for the money. I think I am going to end up buying one. The whole feeling of it, the unique aspect of it, how it's rare given that it's a 350R. It is worth the premium over the regular one. On a track, this would be amazing. They're never going to build a car like this again. I want one. I love it. Thanks so much for letting me drive it, Matt.